Wir werden Deutschland verändern. Ob du willst oder nicht. Soll dir dein Abo bei Hollywood? Hör auf, in dieser Planet der Affenscheiße reinzuziehen, tagtäglich.
Weil die einzige Wahrheit, die ihr kennt, die ist, die aus dieser Röhre kommt. Heute existiert schon eine ganze Generation von Menschen, die nie etwas kennengelernt hat, was nicht aus dieser Röhre gekommen ist.
Als kleine Auffrischung, ja? Bitte.
Wir sollten aufhören, unseren Mainstream-Medien zu glauben.
Es ist ein unsäglicher Zustand, und dass man da nur noch über Internet eigentlich der Wahrheit auf die Spur kommen kann, ist eine trostlose Situation.
Please join me in welcoming Ukrainian President Petro Poroschenko.
When I have a presidential campaign, I was asked, no, it was immediately after presidential election, yeah. I was asked, Mr. President, what is your dream and for whom you want to be after your presidential term? Do you know what was my answer? I said, I'm dreaming to be member of parliament, European Parliament, when Ukraine would be member of European Union. No matter if European nations are ready to accept Ukraine or not, I am insisting European Union cannot survive without Ukraine. Ukraine, democratic Ukraine, should be in the European Union. I am optimistic enough that my dream can come in force. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have no doubt that sooner or later, I prefer sooner, we will have a success. I am absolutely sure that we return Ukrainian sovereignty on the east of my country in quite a short period of time, but Crimea also would be Ukrainian in the very near future. Thank you. Thank you. And said that within 3 months I need the new police. Do you know who was the instructor for the new police? American policemen. We invite hundreds of the best American cops to train our most ambitious young boys and girls. Preferably that they don't have an experience previous to serving the old police. Within the 4 months, we're finishing the courses. And 2 months ago, that's appeared on the streets of Kiev. 6 weeks ago, that's appeared in the Odessa, Lviv, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk. And I invite in my government one of the most famous American investment banker, Ukrainian origin, Natalka Yureska, immediately give her Ukrainian citizenship and appoint her as a Minister of Finance. Within 5 months, we provide absolutely new program for the cooperation with the International Monetary Fund. Can you imagine that in February we have $5 billion of the golden currency reserve for the 45 million country. We are in a deep crisis and have $5 billion golden currency reserve. And after 7 months, we already have above 13. And that's what we do with the country in a state of war. You cannot find any example in the world that country in a state of war who should finance the military expenditure, finance your army, finance your defense. And we're spending 5% of our GDP, which we've never done before. Previous government killing our army. Of course, during the last 15 months, this is the time of my presidency, we make almost enormous things. When I become a president, Ukraine don't have an army at all. When we ask our partners, international partners, to help us, we were rejected because we have an answer. Okay, Mr. President, you don't have an army. Half of your army is corruptive. Half of your army is agent of FSB, Russian Security Service. And this means just an absence of trust. Nobody trusts Ukraine. Just 15 months ago. And within these 15 months, we built up one of the strongest army and most competent, with a unique combat experience, army on the continent, defending our land and stopped one of the biggest military machines on the continent. Defending our own land, being a patriotic, supplied with the all necessary equipment, and do almost enormous things. Within the same period of the time, we build up the trust and create a unique pro-Ukrainian coalition, delivering the very important information that we fight in not only for our territorial integrity, not only for our independence, not only for our sovereignty, but this is the fighting for the global democracy, global security, global freedom. And within the first few months, we completely changed the situation. And the same way, like I will remember the whole life, my today's speech on the General Assembly, the same way I will remember the events which take place in Washington on the 18th of September last year, when I have an address to the United States Congress and Senate. Believe me, this is a unique feeling when you have such a strong bipartisan support of United States Congress, which representing the people of the United States, which was demonstrated to me as a representative of the Ukrainian people. That is a unique feeling that we are united. And that is the best evidence. Nobody can break Ukrainian when they have such overwhelming support through the world. And we very much valued this trust. And that helped us a lot. And when anybody asks me what we need now as Ukrainians, I think we need just two things. Point number one, we need a transatlantic unity. And second, solidarity with Ukraine. Of course, we need a political, advisory, military, technical, and financial support. But stopping the enemy in Ukraine, we also launch a very ambitious reform program. I make a statement that the war is not the reason not to reform my country. And we do. Frankly speaking, when we start this fighting against Russian aggression, that was one of the most difficult times in my life. We pay a huge price for that. We lost 2,144 soldiers. 6,000 civilians were killed by Russian soldiers or by Russian weapons. Most of them are from Donetsk. And we should demonstrate that we fighting for our own land, we have an aggression from the Russian side. We should create the global coalition, and my answer would be very simple. Strategically, globally, we need unity and solidarity. And for every single particular cases, we need the assistance for Ukraine, because every single investors which invest money to Ukraine the assistance we receive from our partners, this is not just an assistance for Ukraine. This is investing in the global security. If you're asking me what exactly we're waiting for from, for example, United States now, I think we need 4 things. Point number 1, we need a strong political support. The same way like it was demonstrated yesterday in the speech of United States President. Point number 2, we need a strong financial support. Why? Because you know better than anybody that on Donbass were concentrated 25% of our industrial output. It is blocked. None of the factory is working. 10% is physically destroyed. And we need to revive our economy. And I'm proud to give you this information that under the prognosis of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, we expect in the year 2016 the economic growth. Third, we need advisory assistance for the reform. We have no right to make any mistake. We should build up for a very short period of time absolutely new country. And that's why immediately after 2 months when I was a president, I signed up the association agreement with the European Union. 1 year ago, synchronously, we ratified it together with the European Parliament, and now we're implementing reform in every single sphere, adapting our legislation with the European Union. Me, together with the Ukrainian people, should bring country to Europe. What is significant changes happen in Ukraine? Changes in mind. Because can you imagine that 2 years ago, only 16% of the Ukrainians support integration Ukraine with NATO. 1 year ago, this figure was 50%. Today, this figure is 62%. And having such an overwhelming support by Ukrainian people, we should win. And in that case, what I need from you, find out the effective sector when you personally can be helpful for Ukraine. We need your assistance, we need your help. And thank you for being so open for us. And by the way, for the cooperation with the Jewish organization, yesterday I have a meeting with the American representative of Jewish organization, and I think that is also a very symbolic thing to establish the absolutely effective form of the cooperation with the Jewish organization. Yesterday, it was the 71st anniversary of the Babi Yar, 28th of September. And we agreed on that on the 75th anniversary, we'll build up, together with them, with my personal participation, absolutely new museum of the Babi Yar, which would be symbol of the tolerance of the new Ukrainian state.